Hello, this is Father Louis Scurti. Welcome to the Spiritual Journeys. We're going to be in southern Italy and Sicily, and today we're out in a cathedral called Gerace. We traveled this morning from Calabria to the beautiful mountains, Aspromonte Mountains, and now we are in Gerace, way up on the hill. It was a fortified city used by the ancient Romans, the Greeks, the Phoenicians, and the Normans and Christians of all denominations, that's Orthodox as well as Roman. Okay, the cathedral is the center of the town and connected to the main portal and doorway. So it's high up on the mountain. We're going to take a tour here in the lower level, the first area, which was like a crypt, but originally used by the Byzantines, which would be Orthodox, in a Roman shape cross. And then we're going to go upstairs later on to see the main facility of the cathedral. This level shows the design of the Roman cross, which is the Byzantine style architecture. The main door is to my left and the altar my right. This is actually right under the dome where the altar would have been. Okay, so it's a cross-shaped church. And we're looking onto a beautiful chapel that was composed by the Normans. And the Normans were the Roman Catholics. When they came, there was a icon right where the statue of Our Lady is that was subsequently stolen, regrettably, and replaced with this medieval sculpture of Our Lady and Child Jesus. This little chapel is built almost in a monastic style with seats along the wall where the monks would have sang the office and prayed. And of course it is in the style where the altar is up against the wall and people would have gathered where we're standing now. It's in a special chapel with this beautiful grate and grille windows and doors. And as we look around this section of the church, we realize it is also preserved as a treasury of the cathedral with various artifacts that are used during liturgical celebration, the vestments of the bishop, the treasury, which cannot be photographed, contains monasteries, gifts, and monastic community items that were brought here from all cultures, including the local people giving donations to the church. Great story. In 1943, Nazis had occupied the whole area of southern Italy, and the people of Gerace gathered here in the cathedral upstairs, which we'll see in a few moments, and prayed for being spared. They prayed to Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. Not one person in Gerace was hurt by the Nazis. The armistice was signed, freedom came, and as a gift to Our Lady, all the people of the town donated gold, which was made into a crown, which is placed on the statue of Our Lady and processed on the Feast of the Assumption each year. And we're going to peek into the treasury so at a distance you can see a silver statue of Our Lady of the Assumption. It's a beautiful little preserved crypt, but it is filled with history that goes back to the 4th century. And in the distance you see the silver statue of Our Lady of the Assumption and other little treasures, monstrances, candelabra, incense holders. Okay, this is Father Lou with Spiritual Journeys. We're going to go upstairs. We'll take a little break and go upstairs to see the Cathedral of Gerace. Thank you for joining us.
From the Byzantine style. First of all, the orientation. Remember when we first got onto the square, I pointed out that we were on a square where there's an apse and not a facade. In all the Byzantine churches, the apse faces the rising sun, the east, the Temple of Jerusalem. So the Normans kept that. They continued building their churches respecting the Byzantine style. So we have the orientation east-west, because according to Greek Orthodoxy, with his sins and goes towards the east to receive purification through the light that comes from the east. That is the idea behind the orientation of the Greek Orthodox churches. You can go anywhere all over the world and not find one church which is Greek Orthodox or Byzantine that doesn't follow this orientation east-west. Okay? The sun rises in the east, and the first rays of sunlight hit the tabernacle for the preparation of the Eucharist. No rose window yet, because rose windows are introduced later, which are more ornate, of course. And we have the two portals on both sides. Of course, the one to the left is missing because they decided to add a bell tower in the 17th century.
Hi, this is Father Louis Skirty with Friends of the Word, back with part 2 of the Cathedral of Gerace here in Gerace. And those applause aren't for us. The guide is finally stopping her conversation. I'm here with Dr. John Beauchard, who sponsored the trip from St. Peter's University, and he has some insight he's going to give us.
All right, here in the Cathedral of Gerace, we're in the main part of the cathedral, which was built in the 1000s, the 11th century, and it's the first example of Norman building, which we call Romanesque most often, a Romanesque-style architecture, the first instance of it in all of Italy, here in Calabria. Right? As you look at some of the columns, you'll notice that the columns and the capitals don't exactly match, because both the columns and the capitals were actually exported from parts of Asia Minor and brought here. So the church was put together with pieces of Roman temples and other earlier Christian churches and just put together here to form the great Cathedral of Gerace.
Now, we were already in the crypt downstairs, and that was Byzantine. So let's go to the side altar now, where Dr. Beauchard will continue some of his insights. And you're probably glad he's talking because he knows all the details that I don't know.
All right, let me just continue. This is the side altar, but this is also the sacrament altar. You'll notice the candles burning in the sanctuary lamps on either side. The arch over the altar is actually from the Baroque period, from the late 17th, early 18th century. And, of course, the Blessed Sacrament's in the tabernacle on the altar. And beside that, you'll see some modern icons which commemorate the fact that this church was built upon a Byzantine church, and icons are particular to the Byzantine world. Also, of course, when you were downstairs, that was the Byzantine church, which predated this, the later 11th century Norman or Romanesque church, as we usually call it.
So let's walk into the sanctuary area where we'll see the main altar, the original altar, and then, of course, this one that's the contemporary altar.
This altar is the main altar, and it's put together with various colored marbles, right? It's very spectacular technique called serpenata, right? And it's indicative mainly of 18th century work, right?
It's so much of a contrast between the simplicity of the Romanesque, isn't it?
Right, yeah. Because the Romanesque, as you see in the arches, you can even make out the individual stones that make up the arches and also make up the side walls. It's mainly travertine marble that's been imported from central Italy down here in the south.
Were the walls originally blank, as these are now?
They probably would have been, we believe they would have been whitewashed or else had frescoes painted on them. Yeah.
Okay, as we leave the sanctuary, let's go across and see the altar of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception, which is the patroness of the town of Gerace. You say Gerace or Gerace?
No, it's Gerace in Italian.
Gerace, and that's how we'll call it.
Gerace.
So we're here walking in front of the main altar, And of course, the main altar here is, of course, as of Vatican II, simple, very simple, and facing the people. And now we're going.
Here you have the cathedra, the bishop's chair, which of course indicates that this is a cathedral, from which we get the word cathedral from cathedra, and cathedra is the throne of the bishop. And of course, it's always the principal church in an area. And here we're approaching the Marian altar, the altar dedicated to Mary. She's depicted in the glass case up there as the Immaculate Conception with the 12 stars around her head. Of course, to signify her importance, she's given a big crown, as you can see, and the little angels underneath her feet are on clouds that kind of cover up a half moon, those all being symbols of the Immaculate Conception.
And that crown is a copy of the crown we saw before in the crypt, which was dedicated by the people of Gerace after World War II.
That's correct, right.
So this has been Father Louis Skirty and Dr. John Beauchard from St. Peter's University, sharing some of our spiritual journey insights with you. We'll continue this as we move through southern Italy into Sicily. God bless you. Keep us in your mind and contact us, fatherlouskirty@hotmail.com.